Hello and welcome to Beyond the Port. I'm Nilu, your sommelier host, and today we're talking all things hospitality. My guest today is a fabulous chef. His name is Jeremy Cabrera. Welcome, Jeremy.
Hi, how's it going, Neela?
So
Good to
great
see
to
you
see
again.
you again. I know. It's so
Yeah, it's
funny.
been a while.
I'll tell you something. You see so many people every day, and in our line of work, you're a chef. I'm a sommelier, working wineries and this and that. And there are some people that stand out to you. And, I met you and your wife years ago, and I've
Yeah.
always stayed in touch because I'm like, they're so cool. I want to see what they're doing.
She's a
So,
little cooler than I
welcome.
am.
Yeah. Next time we're going to have her on the show as well. But
Oh, sure.
anyways, welcome to Beyond the Poor. I'm talking to people that I love, trailblazers in this industry, hospitality industry, and your story is amazing. So I want to let you introduce yourself, and then I'm gonna, um, I've got a bunch of questions for you. I'm excited to ask.
All right, I guess best way to do it is introduce my name. My name is Jeremy Cabrera. I am a Sonoma County native. I've traveled all over the country, and I am here on Beyond the Poor to discuss some of that. Glad to be
Yay!
here. Finally got to.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so I read your bio, and I'm gonna just quickly kind of just go through it, but we're gonna talk about those little things. You grew up here. You had not the easiest childhood, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Um, which I'll let you elaborate on. But what you did with that, you just wouldn't give up. You're like, I know there's a connection between food and people and a calmness kind of thing that comes through that. Um, is that why you went into becoming a chef? Do you feel
Um,
that's the reason?
I would say deep down in my psyche somewhere, it is the reason why. If you were to ask me on the street, and I jokingly like to tell people I was cursed into culinary. But I'm sure somewhere deep in my psyche, I grew up basically on the streets of Sonoma County, homeless, living with my grandma. She introduced me to foraging and just sustainable gardening and just ways of producing food for ourselves. Um, but then at about 14, I was at a boys and girls club, and I had seen like a flyer for like working, or no, it wasn't even working. It was a free summer camp experience. And
Yeah.
so I signed up for the free summer camp experience. It turned out that that summer camp experience wasn't actually at the summer camp. It was working in the kitchen at the summer camp. And so I got to watch everybody else have a summer camp experience while and then shortly after that, I fell in love. That's kind of when I fell in love. And
Yeah.
I signed up for a culinary program at the local high school. And Miss Goodell was the teacher's name. And she ended up signing me up for a pie baking contest at the Elks Club. And I ended up winning the contest. And one day she was just like, oh, one day you'll be a great chef. So I like to tell people I was cursed into this situation, but I love everything culinary and I would never change it for the world.
Yeah.
40,
You've worked, yeah, you've worked at some fabulous spots. And from Glen Ellen Star. Well, I'm going to say them in the wrong order, but I'm just going to throw the names a few out. Woodfour, who, I mean, these are big chefs that, or owners of that open these places. And and you are now at Little Saint in Healdsburg, which is cool. And I actually interviewed the wine director. So I loved hearing about that, and I've eaten there, and is absolutely fantastic. Um, but was there a person apart from that teacher that made you feel like this is what I love? Was it like Ari? Was it somebody else that really was like, you're gonna, love this. This is you're made for this.
yeah, a specific person, no. I wouldn't. Chef Ari. Oh my God, talk about I've worked for some fantastic chefs. I've worked alongside, worked for, met, talked to fantastic chefs. Chef Ari, I met 16 years ago, I want to say, 15 years ago, and briefly worked with him. And he introduced this concept called rustic yet refined,
Yeah.
which completely changed the entire trajectory of my career. And that I held on to. I would say he's the most influential.
Hmm.
Um, but as far as people have, who I can lean back on and say, this is what I love, this is the person who inspired that. Again, I'm going to have to shout out my grandma on that one.
Oh, I love
She,
that. Yeah.
yeah, she was obsessed with everything food and art.
Yeah.
And so she kind of instilled that in me at like a super, super young age. Um, and again, just being homeless, we learned that, I think we talked about it where it's like food was a survival mechanism more
Yes.
than anything else.
Hmm.
And so that was my initial attachment to food was like, hey, this is for survival.
Wow.
It doesn't really matter what's on the plate. It's about
Hmm.
getting something into you so you don't die. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then through that, just I guess throughout my career, just working with various chefs and picking up various principles and ethos from different people, I've kind of created my own vision, and I use that as my driving force for staying
Yeah.
motivated and sticking with this business. So
Right. And it breaks my heart to hear that that's how it went for you. Um, and I mean, a lot of people have had really bad childhoods, and it seems like those people really work harder, try to do more, try to give back to society, and I feel you're one of those people, and what you've made of yourself is absolutely incredible. You're a big influence in Sonoma County. Um, and I absolutely love that for you as much as I hate what you went through, because that doesn't feel good. But it's definitely pushed you. And you, after working so many places with some really great names, a few years back you opened 4th Street Social Club. That was
yes,
downtown Santa Rosa, and it was your wife and you opened that. Tell me a little bit about
yes.
that and why did it end?
Oh, it was an adventure. Originally, I was a chef partner, and she was the operations partner.
Cheers.
We had met through that company.
Hmm.
4th Street was an adventure. We started as a plant-based concept, and then moved a bit closer toward what we call plant-centric,
Hmm.
where we added proteins to our menu, but kind of focused more on like venison, sustainable beef from a farm that we had know out in Calistoga, rabbit, quail, more gamey meats. But we always made it more about the fruits and vegetables than the protein. So the protein was just kind of complementary to the dish.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of places you go, you'll get like this 16-ounce beef with 2 ounces of potato, an ounce of carrots. Ours was the opposite, where it's like you're going to
Okay.
get a 4-ounce portion of meat to 16 ounces of vegetables,
Oh.
all the way down to our cocktails. Our cocktails were tea based. A lot of our flavors were centered around sustainable farming, gardening. Our days off, we would spend our days off foraging for ingredients.
Hmm.
We would go to local farms and fruit stands, and like our sugars were stevia. They were like dehydrated apples that we would use to sweeten a cocktail versus
Hmm.
using any other sugars.
Sure.
Um, so it was a little, I want to say it was a little ahead of its time without sounding arrogant, especially in
But
a
it
city
really
that,
was. It really was because I almost feel like, and again, you're more in this industry, the cooking stuff than I am, but almost Little Saint kind of has that, but no meat. Yeah, they're doing that whole vegan, vegetarian thing. And so you guys were thinking about that way ahead of that's how many, 5, 6 years ago?
That was, yeah, it's about 6 years ago, I want to say.
Yeah.
So, and then so that kind of carried with us through our whole time. And then, just like I said, just being in Santa Rosa, I feel like had we taken that situation and done it in a more food centric location like Healdsburg or
Yeah.
Sonoma or Petaluma, it
Yeah.
probably would have caught on a lot better than in downtown Santa Rosa, which is notoriously known
Mm,
for breweries, or not breweries, but cocktail bars and bar food. Your typical
yeah.
downtown Santa Rosa restaurant is more about like chicken wings, a burger, something that you can grab a drink, grab some quick greasy food, and move on. Um,
Yeah, it's interesting how little towns and areas become famous for certain things. And I've lived in this area for like 30 years, and Santa Rosa really hasn't changed much. I'm talking downtown.
yeah, oh yeah, and it's
You know,
really
you'll not see like I feel Petaluma's changed so much, and
oh
you see these beautiful high-end restaurants coming in. I go crazy now. Usually I go to Napa, but now I've been going to Petaluma the last few times. I'm like,
yeah. I
whoa,
mean, you have
this is great.
fantastic. You have the Shuckery, who's been around for a while. Fantastic seafood. They opened up Luma. Shout out Jazz, she's the owner over there. Like Brewster.
Bijou. What Brewster's?
Um,
I was just there,
yeah,
but Bijou just opened.
you
If
have
you,
Bijou,
yeah,
which is an offshoot of Table Culture Provisions. Chef Stefan Sylvan and Stephen Vargas, amazing people. Briefly worked with them. Um, just yeah, just some fantastic places opening up
the
in
Italian
Petaluma.
restaurant that I love. Oh my God, my husband's obsessed with Cucina Paradiso.
Cucina
Is it
Paradiso, yeah, it was one of
the part?
Petaluma's first
So
like Michelin recommended restaurants, I think, right?
yeah, you can't go wrong there.
And
I mean, for Italian
yeah,
food.
their
And
tiramisu is the
then
best tiramisu in Sonoma County.
it's the best. And then the
Yeah.
other thing I'm going to just throw out there, two more things. My friend Sahar has the Dolce Vita wine lounge. They do
Yes.
wine and like from all over the place. It's a wine bar. And then the food. Oh my God. It's like you can't go wrong with it. And then the Wild Goat. Have you been to that one?
I love Wagyu Bistro. Yes.
You want to go research. Anyways, just throwing out things. I'm
Shout
getting
out Petaluma,
obsessed.
by the way.
Petaluma has got it going on. We need Santa Rosa to get up there. But you're so right. That's not an easy area to get kind of groups of people coming in. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of difficult.
Um,
Um, why did you guys end up closing?
so our opening day was the first day of Sonoma County COVID shutdowns.
The first day, the
Our
opening?
very first day open. So we had all of these plans um, to launch this very specific, very niche concept. And then our day one was literally day one Sonoma County shutdowns.
Oh my God.
So it
Oh my
hiccup.
God.
We ended up, and then with COVID came all of these handful of situations where it was, all right, we're closing for 2 weeks. Our original staff, they're like, oh, well, I can't be without work for 2 weeks. So we lost some of them. And then 2 weeks turned into a month, 2 months, two
Mm-hmm.
years.
Mm-hmm.
And then even during the period where it was, we could do to go orders, we still weren't doing fully what we wanted to do. We're like where our hearts were at.
Yeah.
Um, we clearly, you couldn't hire anybody. It was limited service. So it was basically me and my now wife working 16-hour days every day of the week,
Oh.
just trying to keep it going. And then about a year after COVID ended, it was just so hard that first year for restaurants everywhere, just trying to keep staff. The staff we could get, they were not motivated like they were prior to COVID. We
Mm-hmm.
weren't getting people who were service industry. If you were service industry, again, you were going down to Petaluma, the up and coming restaurants. You were out in Sonoma. You were in Healdsburg at an already established place, Drag Creek Kitchen, Math Center, whatever else is going on up there.
Yeah.
Um, so we kind of just found ourselves very limited. And then by the end of that first year after COVID, we kind of just hit a point where it was like, hey, it was me, Melissa, and our third partner, our investor, who just were like, hey, it just got to be the end of it. And so we ended up just slowly walking
Yeah.
away.
I want to ask you from your viewpoint from the inside. after COVID, people coming back into the hospitality world,
Mhm.
they weren't motivated. They didn't want to come back to work. What do you think the reason was that there was such a shift? Because even, in the wine industry, you couldn't find help. People didn't want to work for that hourly pay anymore. So what do you think changed from before COVID to
Um,
after?
the handouts, like it just 2 years of, getting paid to hang out at home. It made it really hard for the service industry people to come back. I mean, no knock to the service industry, but prior to COVID, it was like there was a handful of restaurants in this country who were kind of looking at the culinary industry as um, a means of growth and as a way of providing for your family and growing. And then,
Yes.
they weren't, a lot of places weren't paying a livable wage. They were overworking a lot of staff. And we got so accustomed to the idea of it being normal for a chef
Grind.
to work
The
40,
grind. Yeah. Just having to grind and work those long hours, right?
basically just, I feel like just that whole lull of um, people not working, it just kind of changed the whole dynamic and made
Yeah.
people reevaluate and readjust. Um, our industry is filled with a ton of amazing people who have, I've met servers and bartenders who have multiple degrees, who speak multiple languages.
Wow.
Um, some have master's degrees. I've worked with people who had doctorates. So I
Oh my
think during
gosh.
that period where
Yeah.
um, they had that hiatus, people kind of went and leaned back on their degrees, and they figured out that maybe they should have been doing that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the truth of it is hospitality is such a difficult thing. And if you're not in it, you're not going to realize how difficult it is because you have to be on the whole time, whether you're in a,
Oh, you
you
can't
know,
turn it off.
yeah, making cocktails, you're behind a bar, you're, pouring wine, whatever. I remember learning from the first place I worked at, now it's showtime, right? So you've got the whole thing, you're giving so much energy, you're talking to people, trying to make them happy that by the time you get home, you have nothing left in the
Oh
tank,
yeah, you're
kind
drained.
of
It's
thing,
just
right?
physically exhausting, mentally
Yeah.
exhausting, and
It's a
then
grind. Yeah.
it's a grind. And it's funny because my two foster brothers are both in construction. So they constantly talk about how physically exhausting it is. And then they'll kind of turn to me like, oh, well, you're a chef, you work in a kitchen. Like, how physically exhausting can it
Oh
be?
my God. They don't know.
And I'm
They
like, you
don't
don't
know
even
what
know.
you
It's like,
do.
I was like, I'm
Yeah.
glad you have an 8 hour day. I have a 14-hour day. It doesn't seem as physical, but on top of that, I'm dealing with 15 servers, 6 people in the kitchen, whatever customer wants to talk to me. I was like, so just the mental aspect of it, from a bartender to a server to the kitchen staff. Sometimes we talk to hundreds of people a day,
Exactly.
have hundreds of
Exactly.
different conversations, and it's just taxing emotionally on ourselves, mentally on ourselves. So it's quite a lot.
Absolutely. And then in your case, you're still needing to create the most beautiful
And then there's
dishes, right? So you have to be on to be able to come up with that. It's not
yeah,
like you can say, "Oh, I'm just going to slop this on, slop this dish onto the plate." So you've got to make it look cute. You've got to make
yeah.
it taste good. There's a bunch of things that you do. Now, with everything that you've gone through, Jeremy, and how you've grown up, when you lead a kitchen, okay, here's my question. Um, how do you lead a kitchen differently because of what you've gone through personally? Because I've been around chefs, and it's a little scary. So, that's all I'm going to say. How do you lead a kitchen?
I lead by the individual. Um,
Mm,
there are a lot of chefs who the kitchen is their kitchen. It's their world. You only do what they want, how they want,
yeah,
when they want it. And they don't look at each person individually as a person. They go, this is the team, you're part of it, you mold to it. But that's not the case with humanity. That's not how people are.
exactly.
Like, my first approach to any new hire is figure out who they are as a person prior to their culinary skill. I can teach them what I know. I can teach culinary skill, but none of that is relevant if the person has like a sick kid at home, if
Right.
they themselves have an ailment of some sort that they don't talk about. Maybe they're going through a divorce. Maybe they grew up in foster care. Maybe they have, self image, like confidence images, like
There's so much.
issues.
There's
So
so
there's
much
so
that
much.
goes on people's lives, right? You
Yeah.
just
And
don't
so I
know.
think just coming from the background that I came from, it as I matured in my career, I've been
Mm-hmm.
able to fall back on that and be like, hey, so life is hard and it's
Mm-hmm.
hard for everybody. And so I've learned to use that.
Yeah.
Early in my career, I wouldn't say that was the case. Um, Early in my career, I kind of saw my past as being almost like a weakness. So I was constantly pushing for what's the next best thing? How do I perfect this? How do I perfect that? Where's the next best restaurant? Who's the next best chef? And how do I go work for them? But again, as I've grown up, it's it's totally taken the ego and accolades
That's
has
it.
taken kind of a
Nice.
backseat. I'm not to say I
Yeah.
wouldn't take them if they came. They're just
There's
more
nothing
on the
wrong
back
with
burner.
there's nothing wrong with challenging yourself, but ego
Exactly.
is not, I'm reading this book right now, and it talks about how bad ego is, and really what it is.
It's
We
toxic.
need to separate that out of our and 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 more of it has to happen, I think, in this industry, the hospitality industry. So
Oh,
when I
100%.
see someone that's humble, hardworking like yourself, that gives me hope. I think that's beautiful. And I want to ask you, what does the word success mean to Jeremy uh,
Happiness.
Cabrera? Yeah,
It's
happiness?
happiness. Like
There you
again,
go.
back
There
when
you
I
go.
was a younger chef, success was you idolized the guys who are at the top. And you
Yeah.
success was like, I have to own my own restaurant. I have to own multiple restaurants. I want to write a cookbook. I want to, be on the Food Network. And so that as like a young chef was the driving force. That was success to a young chef. Again, I'm now 40. I'm in my 26th year of culinary.
Wow.
And now it's just happiness. It's finding a place where I can express myself. It's called culinary arts. It's not called culinary.
Gotta say to you, that's like you're taking the words out of my mouth. I mean, to find a place that you belong, that you feel comfortable, you're happy with the people you're working with and what you're doing is not an easy thing to find. But
No.
if you do, wow, you've just won the gold, gold wrapper or whatever, because it's super difficult to find your people and I feel that all the time with myself, and when you find it, it's like, oh my God, I don't want to move from here, right? It's so
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, so
No.
amazing.
And so
Yeah,
and that's a really relieving moment to feel. And then, but even within that realm, there's the aspect of complacency. So like
yeah,
you can find this place that's just fantastic and it hits all the marks and but I'm also really ambitious because of where I came from. So I've actually
sure.
worked in a ton of places where I sat there and I was like, wow, I could work here for the next 5, 10, 15 years. But then I'm falling into their system in their category. And there's still a part of me who wants to challenge, who wants to be
Hmm.
creative. Again, it's called culinary arts. It's intended to be an art form that is constantly evolving. And so I like to evolve with that. And so,
I love that answer.
yeah.
I love the answer. And 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 I want to ask you my famous, I'm going to say, song question, because I've
Oh,
asked everybody that's come into Beyond the Pour, and I love this because it tells me a lot about people. What is what kind of music do you put on when you're creating a new dish, um, or you just want to reset? I mean, either one of those. What's your song that just pops up in your head that you would love to listen to?
I love this question. I get really excited when you ask everybody else. I was like, oh, what are
Yeah.
they going to say? Um, Mine surprises everybody. I've had vendors come in to drop off food, and they've just given me the side eye of like, really, dude? So it's Andrea Bocelli's Besame. I
Really?
Yes, it
I
is.
love that.
I can sing it word for word,
Do
and
it. Do it.
I will not do it now. That's
Give me
another
a little, give me one
that's
liner. Give me
another
one line.
podcast situation and a couple of drinks in, maybe a couple glasses.
Okay, you know we're gonna make a cocktail with each other. I just want to say cheers, and I don't know if you heard me before. I know you've got water, but I just want to tell you I'm drinking sake,
Oh,
um, heaven sake, which I've been dying. I just got a bottle. I've been dying to get Jumai Daiginjo. I added yuzu, Johto yuzu, which is a lemon. Oh my God, it's like limoncello and a little dab of
yes.
simple syrup. And then I threw it in the shaker. And then this, I felt like it's a little sweet. It needs so I did this as my garnish cucumber and I added salt to it. And dude, it is amazing. Amazing.
Oh
So
my
go
God. I will have to try
do
that.
make it.
If
Yeah,
you're
I'm
on a
doing a lot.
sake kick, I'm going to shout
Yeah,
out Petaluma one more time. Table Culture Provisions. They have a
I'm
sake
writing
som,
that
Danny.
down.
Yeah, his name's Danny.
Table.
He's a sake som, phenomenal. He's a master at sakes, and they have a great sake program. So does Little Saint. We have a fantastic one put together as well.
I
I
know
have
because
yet.
I talked to Laurel and she was really getting into it. Wait, so it's table provisions?
Yeah, Table Culture's Provisions. So it's actually
Oh God.
Bijou's, I'm going to say mother restaurant.
Yes,
Um,
so Bijou came from that. Okay, good to know.
yeah. Oh, yeah. They
Good
have
to know.
a phenomenal sake tasting pairing that goes with
I
their
am
menu.
going there. I
And
am
Chef
going
Danny
there.
is infinite knowledge, almost to a point where sometimes you have to shut him off and be like, all right, I'm just kind of going to leave.
Be like, dude, just pour me that and let me think. Let me
Just
sit
pour
here
the
and
sake.
just go into my own little world. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Love it. Well, no, thank you for telling me about that. I would love to
Yeah.
go there.
Heck them out.
Yeah, I'm really into sake right now, so that's what I'm doing. And I want to ask you, Jeremy, as we finish this, and you've been so kind with your time, what is next for you? Or do you know what's next for you? You might not know at this moment.
Um, well, since I do, it's a big project kind of in the making. Since we've closed 4th Street Social Club, we've been working on a concept called Local Honey. Um,
Mhm.
the name we can go over in the future. There's a lot of
Yeah,
depth to it. But basically, currently, we're running it as a um, chef's table invite only. We run it privately out of our own home. We do not charge for it. And so we use it more as like an R&D situation. Recently, we've been talking about kind of expanding it out of our home and trying to find more pop-up locations where we can kind of introduce it more to Sonoma County and start to get more feedback on that. And then hopefully through that relaunch back into a restaurant.
yeah.
It's been a goal since we closed our last restaurant, and it will be the goal until we open our next restaurant.
So you open it. Yeah. So wait, you're not charging for this? Why?
No, well, because it's invite only and it's out of our house, so it's not really something we do take donations. So if you donate, that's cool.
God, yeah.
But it's
God,
it's more
yeah.
of an
That's
R
fantastic.
and D situation. Melissa
Yeah.
is a mixologist, so it's a good
Oh, is
opportunity for
she?
her to,
Oh
yeah,
my gosh, I
it's
didn't
like a
know
really good
that.
opportunity for her to like R&D new cocktails. It's a good opportunity for me to R&D new small bites and dishes.
Dishes. Yeah.
And so it's more for fun at the current stage. Um, when we launch, we kind of want to launch with all of the box ticked. When we did 4th Street Social Club, we didn't have all of the box ticked. And this time
The
around, we
learning.
make sure that
Yeah.
um, we're there. Like we want to,
Yeah.
it's going to be kind of both of ours love letter to our grandparents. Her
Okay.
name translates to honeybee.
Yeah.
It's like a direct connection with her grandma. Local, the local honey part is more of like a sustainable thing. That's a knockoff, like shout out to my grandma. And so through that, this is our love letter back to the two women who basically created who we were. Like her mom is involved in her life and a fantastic woman, but her
Hmm.
grandma is the one that she is always like, that's her
So
heart.
funny. The same
Yeah.
for me. My grandma was the one that was involved in my life, and we learned so much. I mean, from their wisdom and experiences, it's unreal what they passed down to
Oh
us.
yeah.
And I think the name, first of all, local honey, incredible. And then you're coming in with, after, working for all these people, picking out what you need for your own thing. And then she's a mixologist, so she'll bring that into the new restaurant. I mean, incredible.
Yeah,
It's
I
going to be
mean,
so exciting.
yeah, and it's kind of like I said, it's one of those things where it's like it's been slow in the making, um,
That's the
but
best
it is
way.
something we're both extremely passionate about,
Yeah.
and it is the top tier of what we want to do next. So
And maybe it's not in Santa Rosa. I mean, who knows
yeah,
where you feel might be the spot. Things are
yeah,
changing.
I mean we've bounced around a few different places. Santa Rosa, I think, is kind of we're I think having 4th Street and being it so far kind of in advance of what Santa Rosa is used to, we have this like vendetta back towards Santa Rosa where we're just kind of like, no, we're gonna force this fine
We're
dining
gonna
concept.
do this. Yeah, there's no
we,
way.
we need to force it down Santa Rosa's throat.
That's it. That's it. Well, if you need a psalm, you just hire me and I'll do all the wine stuff for you. So then
It's
we're
funny
done.
because you had mentioned that when we first mentioned it to you about 5, 6 years ago, whatever we
Yeah,
mentioned.
yeah.
So,
I
also,
I
funny
I
story.
I
The
just wanted
last
to
time
work
we
with you
saw
guys.
you, yeah, the last time we saw you, you sold us a 2016 Pinot Gris,
It
and I was
was
just
with
from
Seamus,
Seamus.
right?
Yeah, Seamus.
Seamus?
Yeah, yeah,
Seamus, yeah.
like a five gallon half keg, and I was
Oh
just
my
cleaning out our
God.
barn, and I found the empty keg. So,
Yeah, but it was empty, so you had
yeah,
drank. Oh, good. That's
yeah. I
good.
was like, oh
That's good.
yeah,
Yeah, that was when I was managing Seamus for Jim Foley Jr.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's where we met. But good times, all of it, and ultimately you want to have your family, your people around you,
right,
and that's why I keep talking to you guys. Hire me.
we will. You're one of our favorites.
No, I mean, I've been trying to get you on this podcast forever, but you're always busy, so I really appreciate you making time today.
Of course.
Um, and I am so excited to watch you just do your thing, and whoever doesn't know you, they should know you because I think it's absolutely an incredible story what you guys are doing, and yeah, I love following it. I really do. So
Thank you.
kudos to you. And so what I want to do is by ending here, I want to say we're Beyond the Pour, the podcast. We're on YouTube. We're actually on Spotify. So if you don't feel like watching us, you can listen to us. Please do follow and share. It's actually kind of fun to listen to these amazing people. So please do follow. Jeremy, thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Give
much.
my best to your wife, and
I
I look
will.
forward to talking to you soon, I hope.
Oh yeah, send me that link and we'll do the old
The
fashioned
cocktail
class.
making?
And
Yes,
yeah,
make it
she'll
old
probably
fashioned.
teach it. Yeah, she'll run the program, the thing, and I'll just make food on the side. And
I love it. From your house, from your kitchen.
yes, from the
I'll be
kitchen.
making mine here and you'll be in the kitchen. And oh my God, I'm sending you a link soon.
I'll make like a pre-made meal prep or something, and we'll send it over
Yay!
to you, and you can pretend like you're making it with
Oh
us.
my God, I love it. My husband's into cooking too, so it's going to be really fun.
Oh, then I'll just write it down, and he can cook it
Yeah,
for
he
you.
can do it for me. I love that. That's even more fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neil. It was so good to see you
Thanks.
again.
Take
Have a
care.
good